Should be good. We'll just wait for people to jump in.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's just funny that Joel and I always talk about it, like the reality of touring versus what it's actually like. Hey Mecca, how you going? Hey Anna, nice to see you. We're just going to no countdown tonight, straight into it, and we're just going to wait. Hey Kenzie, hey Ines. Oh, you love the hoodie.
What up?
Yeah, I'm wearing my AIM hoodie tonight. Yeah.
I want to take a photo of the screen, but I can't.
Oh, won't let you do a screenshot? Hey, Daniel.
Oh, there we go. Hello.
Say what up to Jared, guys. Those of you in the chat. We'll just wait a few minutes just for everyone to join, and then we'll... Hey, Lucia. So good to see you. So good. You guys are so... always on it. Always here on the reg.
Always on time.
Morning, Aaron. Hey, Asia. Hey, is that Marlis? Marlis? Detessa's here. Haven't seen you in a while, Detessa. Evening depending on where you are. Yes, evening here. Asia, how are you going? I keep hearing stuff about where you are. It just seems a bit crazy there as well. So hopefully you're doing all right. Yeah, we're doing okay. Just waiting for everyone to join. How are you doing, Jared?
I'm doing all right. I'm just like taking it as it comes, and doing the whole life thing, trying not to get sucked into video games too much.
Yeah, you guys, so you and Jordan, there's a group of you that have been playing video games. Is that correct?
Yeah, myself, Jordan, Leo, our mate Chum, occasionally Billy joins
Billy
us.
Zamet.
Yeah, it's good fun, but don't want it to consume my life too much, because then it's going to be way too difficult to pull myself back out.
I know that's the hard thing now. Hey Tegan, nice to see you here. So good to see you. Can I tell you, as someone that has just gone back to, well, not normal shooting yet, but starting to, it's been really, really hard, to be honest, to drag myself out of the, well, it's just, you get really used to it. It took me so long to get used to it, and then now I've got to try and pull myself out of that.
Break that bubble again.
Yeah, break the bubble, that's for sure. Welcome to everyone in the chat tonight. I'm sure we'll be joined by a few more. As you know, I won't get emotional this time like I did on Sunday. I'm so sorry about that. It was a bit embarrassing, but it's been a really... I was just saying to Jared, I've actually found the last couple of days more paralyzing than any of the corona stuff. So I have struggled a bit, but I talked about this a little bit in the Discord group about how important my streams are to me and this community is to me. So definitely wanted to show up for you guys and give you everyone here a chance to escape for a couple of hours as well, and introduce you to Jared's work none of this stuff we take lightly, and we know there's a lot going on in the world at the moment, and it's a lot, and it's really heavy, and I know some of you are right in the thick of it, and I send my love to all of you. I've got close friends that are at protests right now, so it is very raw and very real and very personal, and I know Jared feels the same, and we put a couple of links. It'll come up occasionally every 10 minutes or so, but there's 3 links that we found that are organizations, if you choose to, you can donate to. One of them is an organization in America which is connected to Black Lives Matter, and then 2 of them are connected to Indigenous organisations in Australia as well. So if you do so and you haven't had a chance to or whatever, it's totally up to you. But it's something that we both felt really strongly about. So we talked about that and found those organisations for you. They'll come up. I think it's every 10 minutes or so. It'll pop up and say, here are the links. Thanks. I'm seeing all the comments. Thank you so much. And yeah, I did get a little emotional on Sunday, so thank you for showing your love to me. I appreciate it. Gab's here as well. Hey Gab, how you going? It's nice to see you.
Hey.
And Scarlett's here as well, so it's great.
Yeah, full crew.
I love it so much. The other
all those sub badges.
Yes, all the sub badges. The sub badges are my favorite thing ever. So cool. The other thing I wanted to mention is for people that do want to show their support on the streets, there are two rallies that I know of. I believe there probably will be more. They're Black Lives Matter rallies that are connected to our Indigenous communities here in Australia. There's one in Sydney, which Jared was saying you think it might be at Hyde Park. And the Melbourne one, I believe, is at the Parliament Steps, which is where the Melbourne ones usually are. And I think they're both Saturday. But you can find information of those online. They're floating around at the moment. I've posted them on my socials as well. So just wanted to put that out there at the start of the stream because we're both really passionate about. There's two in Brisbane. I know there was one in Perth the other night. I saw some photos floating around, and Shelley, I don't know if Shelley's in the chat yet, but Shelley posted some amazing photos from the rally in Auckland, which was just so amazing to see. Yeah, it was like there were so many people there. So
it's great to see.
Yeah, super, super cool. Aaron's just noticed that both Ines and Anna have the 2-month sub badge now, so that's very cool. Aaron, do you have the 2? Yeah, you've got the 2 as well. The green. Oh, stepping it up.
Ooh, shit.
Got the green jacket. Woo.
What's the 3-month?
I can't remember. Don't put me on the spot. We have there's 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12. I think are all the badges. That's how they go.
Yeah.
And they're different colours, and I just can't remember. So it's very.
It's all good.
I know, they're so cute though. I love them.
That's so cool.
I
love those jackets.
I know. It was I was stoked that we came up with that idea. There's that. There's also there's like, I can't remember what they're called. They're points that you get when you've watched the stream, and they like the icon down the bottom is like a little Jordan shoe. It's like, I don't know what they're called. They're like
Oh yeah.
See right down the bottom.
Yes,
channel points. Yes.
Yeah.
So it took me so long to do that little shoe, can I tell you? Like I can't even tell you. I just couldn't resize it to the right size. It was taking me hours, but worth it because it's a Jordan 3, which is my favorite. It's my favorite Jordan.
Dude, I've been wanting to buy some Jordans actually. I've been wanting to get like the Rookie of the Year Jordans, like they're like the mustard yellow ones.
I totally know which ones you mean. And
they're so expensive. Like, I mean, they're kind of mid-range for like those types of shoes. Like they're like, I think they're like $600. I'm like, I don't know that.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Good enough.
The Jordan 3s that I have, Gab just said I thought you meant Jordan Munn's shoes. I mean, the GOAT deserves his own shoe, but we're actually talking about Jordan. I found my Jordan 3s on tour, actually, in Dublin. I've told the story before, but I found them at a vintage store, and they were like $80, and they were in pristine condition. I was like, yes, thank you. I will be taking those. And they were my size. So
that's so, dude, what are the chances?
I know.
Like,
oh my God.
You're on tour.
Sorry.
Where was it?
It was like, in Dublin. We just had a couple of days off. So it was like one of the times we got to shop.
What are the chances on tour on the other side of your favorite shoe that fit you?
That fit me for cheap, that I've been wanting for so long, a pair of Jordan 3s. I'm stoked.
That's That's some good luck right there.
Leo's in the chat as well. He just said Air Force Muns. What up, Leo? So nice to see you here.
Nope.
Oh my god, that's so
Cracking, my guy.
funny. That's really funny.
Why is not doing some Warzone, bro?
I want to get into this chat with you.
Let's
I
do
want to
it.
show. I'm going to get some of your work up on the screen while you're talking, but there we go. I can do this. So,
I believe in you.
yes, my dog's barking. They're downstairs tonight. So, first of all, I'd love to get a bit of a background. I mean, you're obviously not from around here, guys.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Oh
not
my
around
god,
here,
I can't
yeah.
believe I said that. It's like it's what people say to me. It's like, you look like you're not from around here, love. No, but do you want to tell us your background and how you even got to being in Australia, as well as starting to shoot and your career with music photography? I would love to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. So if you can't tell from my weird accent, I'm actually originally from New York. I grew up in like a little town about 45 minutes north of Manhattan called Pleasantville. And then I moved here 13 years ago. So I did from like year 6 to now basically.
And what was
Which,
the reason for you? Was it your family
um,
moved here, or?
yeah, so my dad bought a business out here, and also his parents and his sister lived here. So it kind of seemed like the most central place for a family to be, whereas his brother lives in London.
Right.
So yeah, then yeah, we just kind of packed up one day and said bye to all my friends, and then moved to the other side of the world.
Oh my god, how old were you when you moved here?
12.
Oh, that's such a weird age too, like to leave all of your friends and come to
Yeah.
Australia. That's so.
Do you know one of the worst parts was I had just moved schools and I was just starting to make a new friend group.
Oh, that's. It's
I was
definitely.
6 months in, and then
Yeah, that's.
yeah,
I feel that pain. That is, yeah.
yeah.
Matt Waddingham is in the chat as well. G'day, Matt. Nice to see you here.
Oh,
Uh, yes, they are so great, these photographs. We're just showing
oh,
your shots. A lot of these are from, what was that concert called that you guys shot? Well, I was
firefight.
going to say Live Aid. I don't know why.
I mean,
I mean, the closest that we've come to Live Aid. Like,
yeah,
quite.
pretty much. I mean, Queen did their Live Aid
I
set, which is
know.
pretty,
I nearly cried. That was
dude. Were you there?
so. No, I was watching you guys shoot it. I kept seeing Jordan's head and like taking video of him and sending it to him because I kept seeing him on him and Cole Bennett's I kept seeing on the broadcast. And I think I saw Jess Gleason once as well, which is very cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think she was behind that dude, Ronan. No, not Ronan. What's his name?
Oh,
Rowan. Yeah,
Rowan?
yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever's on the screen
Oh,
right now.
yes. Ronan Keating? No, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the one.
Ronan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's.
she was behind. Got seen by the world, which is
Yes, yeah. And so
I
I
like.
guess
Um,
how did you start your journey into music photography? Because as we were talking about before we went live, there's no like one journey. Everyone's journey is really weird and different, and I'd love to hear how
Definitely.
you got into it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it kind of all started back in America. Like, I always had a fascination with cameras and like taking photos and all that kind of stuff. I used to steal my dad's camera when I was young and just like go and take photos of whatever. And um, I remember for some reason I still remember this one trip that we did, and I just took like some photos of like this waterfall or something, and my dad was going through the photos. He was like, "These are actually like good."
Oh
And I was like,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, okay, cool." And then it kind of just I didn't really like know that that was a career path until probably year 12 at school, and I was like, "Oh, might be a career path," but it kind of started year 11. I was doing some party photography and I was like kind of getting back into photography, and I was learning all the specs and all like the cool shit that was going on at the time, and I made a Facebook page, and I had a friend who was in a band. Uh, he hit me up. He was like, "Oh, do you want to take some photos of my band at some pub?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" I mean, might as well. And so I went along, took some photos, absolutely loved it, and kind of went from there. Really, I mean, I think the next few gigs, I was hit up by some people that were at that show, and then they one of them was promoted for a show, and then he got me on a bunch of stuff, and then just kind of went from there. Hit up magazines, was like, please get me along to shoot some stuff, and nobody got back to me except for the
Oh, yep.
music.com.au.
Yep.
And then they were the ones who gave me my first break, I guess, into
Who was the first gig that you shot? Do you remember?
Dyson Stringer Clower.
Cool.
Uh, yeah, which I mean, I think some of them are still going.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, I know Dyson. Can't remember her first name. But that was the first gig, and I actually remember seeing. So it was like a, it was such a weird shoot because I'd never been to a show like that before. It was like a bunch of. It wasn't like a standing show; it was all seating, and so I was like having to dodge and dive between like people sitting and stuff, and I saw who I didn't know at the time, obviously, but Peter Dovkin shooting as well. And he was just like just doing his thing, and I was like kind of viewing, seeing what he was doing, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, if I go here and kind of that, yeah. So that was
That's
kind of
wild. That's so cool.
yeah. I don't think I ever actually told him that he was at the first ever show I
Oh,
shot, but
wow. That's so funny.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, but
and so the music started giving you some, I guess, publication work, and is that how it's progressed for you? Because I know now, you tour a lot. You tour with a few
mm,
different bands and stuff like that. Like, I'd love to hear that progression because I think that's one of the biggest hurdles for people is how do I make that progression from shooting from publications to shooting direct with bands? Because that can
yeah,
be
definitely.
tricky.
I mean, that's yeah, it's definitely tricky because you also don't want to undervalue yourself, and that's the one thing that you kind of have to overcome. Like, you're not going to be able to jump onto like a bus tour automatically. You're not going to be able to go work with like these huge
Mm.
artists. You've got to build your way up. You've got to sleep on floors. You've got to sleep in like cars and all that kind of stuff. So it started. The first band that I worked with was this band Trophy Eyes, and I shot their second or third ever show. It was like a house show, and then John, the singer, came up to me. He was like, "Oh," he was like super shy and like quiet at the time, which is funny to see how he's progressed.
Yeah.
um, and he was like, "Oh, how much would you want to do some promo stuff?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe like $50 or something like that." Like we were both like starting out and everything. Unfortunately, it never like it never ended up happening, but I did go to the studio with them, documented them recording their first ever EP. Everything Goes Away, and then that was the first time working with a band. Um, and then the first tour I did, the first full tour I did was with a band, Make Them
Hmm.
Suffer, Perth-based
Yep.
act. I don't even remember how that came about. The all I remember is the guitarist Monty hit me up, and he was like, "Hey man, do you want to go on tour with my band?" And I was like, I knew of the band, but I didn't really know them. I didn't know anything about them, and I was like, "This is weird. Like a band that's never met me, and I've never met them,
Yeah.
offered to take me on the road."
That's quite
Um,
unusual too. Like that doesn't happen that often. That's a band will
no,
just hit you up and yeah, take a random photographer they've never met. That's pretty rare.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I was like, I was kind of a bit taken back. I was like, is this real? And then I was like asking people, I was like, oh, are they like cool guys? And they were like, oh yeah, they're sick. And then they ended up being like amazing people after that. And then oh man, it's actually crazy. It went from that Australian tour we were like 5 dates in. We were in Sydney, and I remember Chris, the bassist, asked me if I wanted to go to Europe with them.
Oh my God. So
Yeah,
you
so that,
literally have like, I mean, it's like you have the story that kind of a lot of photographers dream of that I don't actually think happens that often, but you actually do have the story like plucked from obscurity.
yeah,
Because
I mean,
usually it's like, yeah, you probably have to know the band pretty well and start
yeah,
small, and then potentially the band might get to be really well known and kind of off you go.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of how it happened with Trophy
Yeah.
Eyes, because um, they would take out a few other photographers and stuff, and um, then one time I think one of them couldn't make it, so then they got me along, um, and then because I'd obviously been known them for forever, but here's when you like here's like the dilemma that I faced because they were at the time they didn't have any budget really for a photographer or anything, or because touring is hell expensive,
Mm.
like especially international touring. So they would, so I pretty they, I think they paid, you know, they just trying to remember, they paid me like a tiny bit and my flights,
Yep.
but like it was so minuscule that it like I don't think it covered my rent back home. I think it paid for my food there per day,
Yep.
like kind of thing. Like, and it was like a thing that I was tossing up in my mind because I was like, do I want to undervalue myself for what I know that I'm worth to tour? You know? And I
Yes.
was like, I think this is an opportunity that I can't miss out on. And sometimes you have to weigh that up. And I decided it's worth it. And I went over and uh, we created some really cool content and kind of went from there, really.
Yeah,
Um,
that's not an unusual story. Not the first couple of tours I went on, I was paid, but the first international tour that I went on, all of my expenses were paid, but I wasn't paid a fee. And
yeah,
then from then on, I was. But it was like, again, the artist was in their kind of infancy. It was one of those things like play the long game kind of vibes. I
definitely.
wasn't
Yeah,
losing any money. It was a huge opportunity. It was international. It was to a country I'd
yeah,
never been to. Like weighing up those opportunities to know, okay, I know I'm not being taken advantage of in this issue,
yeah,
in this particular situation.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it's sometimes it's good to weigh up those and understand that there's times that you can do that, and then there's times you definitely shouldn't as
definitely.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't ever, like, at that time, I wouldn't have ever toured in Australia with them for what I was getting paid over there because I know that they'd be able to afford more because they didn't have to cover flights, their visas, all that kind of stuff. But
Yes.
uh, yeah, I'm kind of lucky as well because being a US citizen, no one needs to cover
Of
my
course.
visas or anything.
Yeah, because the
So
visas are
that
so
saves,
expensive.
yeah, that saves bands about 3 grand or
Yes.
so or
Um,
more. So,
just a quick hello to, I've got two new followers,
hey,
Christy, and I missed the person before's name, but hello and thank you for joining the stream. We've got Jared Leibowitz talking about his career as a music photographer. Um,
what's going on?
yeah, so, but yeah, I definitely feel like it's weighing up those opportunities at the start to know, yeah, to not be taken advantage of, but know that this is a potential to go really far, like, you know,
Yeah,
versus,
but
oh, this, yeah, it can be very tricky at the start to weigh that up. Yeah.
yeah, one of the things is like, at least for me, whenever the band or management comes to me and says, "Oh, this will be a huge opportunity for later," I'm always like, "No, like you don't get to tell me that's going to be a huge opportunity for later.
Yeah.
That's like for me to decide, like if I see the potential as well,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
it's a
I,
gut feeling.
yeah,
It's a real gut
yeah,
feeling with that
definitely,
when you know, like I've always known when it's like, no, this will definitely be worth it versus they're just, you know, trying to squeeze, you know, one of me in this instance. But yeah,
exactly,
but Daniel's
yeah,
just said, wowzers, didn't realize it cost that much to be able to travel through the country for such a short period of time. That's one of the biggest barriers for taking us on tour is the visas and how much they cost, and different countries costing different fees and stuff as well, but it can be huge. And I know, like, with the tour that I was just meant to go on to Asia with Rule, they just paid for all of our visas, and they'd just gone through the whole band, which was like 9 people, and Joel and I, and then the tour got postponed, and the visas only asked for 3 months, so they just lose their money. They weren't even able to like postpone the visas or anything. Like, it's just it's a huge expense that
Would travel insurance cover any of that though?
Not sure.
Maybe.
Potentially. I know that they were looking into it, but the consulates were just like, whatevs, like, so it's a pandemic or whatever. So
man.
and I've just noticed hello to Amberly and hello to Steph that have said they're late, but you are here. So lovely to see you here. Really appreciate it. We've got Jared chatting about his amazing work. I noticed before, just to interject, but there was a shot of Kendrick Lamar and also Action Bronson, but was that the show, did you shoot the Melbourne show for...
Nah, that was Sydney. That was Eminem.
Yeah,
concert.
He must have been wearing the
concert,
same thing, because I swear to God, I've got the same shots in the same green jacket. And I'm like, were we shooting together and I didn't know?
Oh, man,
I think he was wearing the exact same thing in the Melbourne show. Because I have it almost an identical shot to yours, so I was like...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Side by side.
Yeah, I know, we should.
So that was actually the first big show that I ever shot. That was like...
Oh, how big was that show?
Dude, it was mental. And, oh, man. I was so ignorant when I first started. This still pisses me off to the day.
Tell me, I love these. I love ignorant stories. I've got one from the same show, so you go first.
So, I shot that show from Mosh Camp, and I got approved the day of. And earlier in the week, I got approved to shoot Josh Pike as well the same night.
Cool.
So Kendrick at the time was still, I mean, I wouldn't say he was one of my favorite artists at the time, but he was definitely like approaching it, I was like listening to him more and more and more. And I ended up shooting his 3 songs, we were allowed into like the Lose Yourself zone, which is like the front area. Yep. I don't know if they did that in Melbourne as well.
Yep.
And I was hanging out, and then I looked at the time, because this was in Olympic Park, and the Josh Pike show was happening in Marrickville, which is like a 40-minute drive. So I had to bounce from seeing not only the rest of Kendrick's set, but all of Eminem's set.
Oh my God.
To go shoot Josh Pike at the Factory Theater.
Oh.
And to this day, I still regret not staying, because even though you weren't allowed, I know some photographers that were shooting Eminem from the crowd.
Yeah, I know some. I know some too, actually. I didn't, because I'm really big on I've just heard so many stories about photographers being blacklisted and stuff like that, so I don't do that. But I definitely know people that shot Eminem and got shots from that Sydney show, actually.
I think probably the same person.
Probably the same person, yes.
Yeah. But, I mean, at the time, because I was just starting out, I didn't really know the rules. Like, I thought, we are allowed in there and allowed to shoot, so that's why I was doing that. Yeah. But, it's still, like, Eminem, for me, is, like, what got me into hip-hop, and it got me into, like, that whole realm. Yeah. So it kind of, it sucked to miss out on that show. Yeah, for sure. I totally understand that, for sure. Aaron's just asked, is that 35mm? I don't know which shot. It might have been a previous, this one here maybe. Might be a film shot. I can't tell. Hockey Dad? Is a Hockey Dad portrait on your... Yeah, Hockey Dad that was the first ever roll of 35 that I shot. That was
That's amazing.
HP5.
Jared asked, Aaron's just asked, how old are you?
I am 24, going up to 25 at the end of the month.
Such a baby. No wonder everyone genuinely calls me the mum of Australian music photography. I am like everyone's mum, quite literally. I was going to tell a story from that. I was actually shooting that show for M Phases, so I had a AAA pass. So I was
Hectic.
able to shoot in really wild spots, even for Kendrick. But I was told, so I shot the 3 songs for Kendrick, and then I came backstage because M Faces was DJing in between sets. So I had come back, and I was told, I think I was shooting some shots sneakily, and then I was like told, you better put that camera away, or you like. But I definitely got a couple from the back. But yeah, you have to be so careful in those situations. You're just like, oh my god, and
to show that size. Oof.
Yes. Aaron said, "Wow, when you said Eminem, he thought you might be his age." That's funny. Yeah, they'd be a little bit older than you then. So, but no, you're just a bubba.
Yeah. Just a little
bit. And so what's in more recent... I mean, I've seen you at the last few Unifies. I guess that's where, I guess, the music that you shoot and I kind of cross over. Because otherwise we don't really cross over that much. I mean, I used to shoot a lot of hip-hop. I don't shoot as much anymore. But I've seen you with Trophy Eyes a few times. Or who were you shooting with the last time? I can't remember.
I didn't go down this year.
Oh, that's right. I think I'm thinking of the year before when you had your film camera and you were...
Yeah, and I took that portrait of you.
Yes. It was cute. Very cute.
I was there with Hellions and Trophy Eyes.
That's right, because I wasn't shooting that year. That was the year that I was doing on-camera interviews. Yeah, I was just... And I got to talk to those guys. It was so weird. But I actually really liked it, but it was definitely outside my comfort zone to be on camera.
I can imagine that it would be I mean, because you the majority of what you do is like in the hip hop realm, or like the pop hip hop. So I mean, hip hop to hardcore is like 2 totally different styles of like
totally
people,
different.
Like, to be asked and all that kind of stuff, so.
Billy Zamet's in the building, by the way. I just saw his name pop up. So what up?
Hey, Billy.
He made a beautiful Trophy Eyes video that year, and that's Trophy Eyes merch you've got in the background too, isn't it? That flag. I think you mentioned that before. The American flag with the.
Billy helped me out with that beautiful Trophy Eyes video.
Billy is, I mean, we've praised Billy's work in this stream before, but now he's here, so he might have to hear us all praise how much we love Billy. I think I told the story of sneaking Billy. I don't know, he'd definitely been shooting some gigs, but when he was 17, I snuck him into the Rise show, which was when I launched my book. We did a gig in every state, and I snuck Billy in to shoot the show. And he was only 17. I'm like, come on, Billy, come and shoot the show. Because I was being Mama Mishy again. You know, come on, little one.
Oh, yeah.
I was 16. Oh my god! And I hid him from the police. I totally forgot. So sounds like something I would have done too.
Oh, dude, I love that.
Oh
my god, Billy hasn't changed.
He hasn't changed at all. I know. I remember, and I'd like seeing Billy then, and then it was like a few years before the next time I saw him, and I was like, whoa. When did Billy grow up and become a supermodel? Like, what the fuck happened? You were just a little boy last time I saw you. It was quite wild. But very talented Billy Zamet.
I mean, he's what now, like 18?
Something like that. Like,
wouldn't surprise me if he's younger.
Yeah, maybe.
Is he still 16?
Yeah, maybe. He kind of looks it. He still looks very young. Christy's just said she needs to catch some sleep. She's in the US, but she's going to watch this later. So thank you for popping in, and definitely check out the stream. The mum energy is off the charts. I feel like I just do have big mum energy. Someone that's not a mum.
Care about the
I do have a big. I love everybody. Everybody. It's big BME, love big mum energy. That's me.
That can be a sticker.
Totally. Aaron usually thinks of the merch ideas for me. BME, big mum energy sticker that's definitely happening. This is a really cool. Your portrait work's really great, actually. I haven't seen heaps of it, but it's really good to scroll through your folio and have a look. This is a Trophy Eyes. There's a portrait of all the guys lying down on is it? They look like fake $100 bills, but is that trophy eyes? I think that's
Yeah.
trophy eyes.
Yeah, that is.
That's a great shot,
I-
by the way. I love that shot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That the entire budget for that shoot went into those $100 bills. I'm not joking. All that money cost me like $800.
To print the fake. Oh yeah, it's not cheap
But like,
to do
no,
that stuff.
I didn't print it. I got like not genuine fake.
Ah, right.
Like it's from the States and everything, and that shit's expensive.
That is literally an entire shoot budget. Like it's just like
Yeah.
it's like cool. I didn't make any money on this shoot, but hey, the money in the shoot looks great.
Exactly. I'm spending money on money to not make it.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's a very, very cool shot. Because those particular shots too, looking down, are really, really hard to make everyone, like the angle and stuff. It's actually so difficult to do.
Billy actually helped me out on the shoot as well.
Awesome.
We had like a, I don't know, 15-foot ladder or something, and I was like all the way at the top. He was a few rungs below me. He was throwing money.
Cool. You can see that too.
Well.
You've got that lovely, the blurred money effect. Good on you, Billy. Just helping out. Helping out in all situations.
Yeah, that's it.
I love those shoots too where you have to be like, dangling off a ladder or something, or like you definitely put your life in danger. They're my favorite. I have done that so many times I can't even tell you.
Break all OH&S rules.
Always.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite thing to do is just break all OHs. I often say it when people walk into my studio. I'm like, okay, this is not OH&S. Walk over the cables and underneath that thing.
Yeah.
I have public liability. It's okay. It's fine, guys. I have insurance.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, yeah.
It's fine. It's all good.
I just renewed mine the other day, so
Boom.
I'm good for another year.
You picked a couple of specific shots to talk about, which I want to pull up now, and tell us why you selected these particular photos as well. This is a ASAP Ferg shot, the first one. I'd love to hear the story actually of you. I've worked with Ferg a couple of times as well. I'd love to hear how that. So he is really lovely. I've had really great experiences both times working with him. So great shot. Yeah. How did that come about?
So my friend, I don't really know how much I can say.
Just say what you're what you're able to say.
So my friend works at Sony, and she needed. Ferg's team hit her up, being like, "Oh, we want someone to just come out to the studio for an hour to do some video." Mm-hmm. So I said yes. I asked what the budget was, and she came back $0. And I was like, "Yeah, that ain't happening."
Yeah, sounds about right.
I would love to work with Ferg, but I mean, for an hour with him, I'm not going to really gain much from that. And then.
It's so annoying when labels do that, by the way. Like, this is a really common story, and it's just so annoying to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. But she came back, and she wanted to get me along for it, so she pulled some strings and got some cash and everything like that. She told me to meet her at his hotel. And it ended up being a 2-day shoot, from an hour to 2 days. And so I rock up to his hotel. He's like full dressed, like suit, like really nice shoes. He's got like a Tiffany suitcase, and he's like kind of telling me about what we're going to be doing. And I was like, oh, okay, I've got no idea
what's happening,
what any of this is. He's like, so we're going to go here, we're going to do this, we're going to go here and do this. I'm like, okay, whatever you want, man. Like, we'll do it. And then ended up being for a music video.
Oh my God.
So ended up shooting.
So did you think you were doing stills and then you ended up doing video? Like what
No, it was meant to be video, only video originally. So the first day I only did video,
Right.
and then only the second day I did some
Cool.
stills. Um,
Because that would be
so we
wild
went.
if you were told you're doing a still
Oh,
shoot.
dude. Oh
I'd be
man, that would
like,
have been
what the hell?
just rock up with the totally different gear that I
Yeah,
needed.
yeah.
That would shit.
Yeah,
But
super shit.
we went around the Star Casino. We had like the Stars like head of security like escorting us around and everything like that. It was like so hectic. I was like, this is pretty cool. Like we could go anywhere we wanted. I got some footage of him. We we went out back in front of this restaurant to this huge table, and he would just order like a bunch of like hell expensive food. Like I didn't even know how much it was, but I was like, this is nuts. Like tomahawk steak and like uh, beautiful fish, and I was like, this is nuts. But um, I guess that's just the hip hop life, you know. Like, gotta live it up. And yeah, it kind of went from there, and then the next day was the show, and they asked me to come back and do that. But then also, fuck, I'm sorry, I'm just like trying
No,
to
it's fine.
remember everything.
It's. I
Um,
know how these days work too when you're thrown into these situations because you're like, yeah, it's always really unexpected, and then you're like, oh my god, it just ended up being 2 days. So I get that you're
yeah,
trying to piece it together.
yes, I'm like, oh, what happened first, and then what happened? Yeah, so anyway, back to the first day. um, we uh, we hit up. Oh, shit, yeah, it was the first day. Uh, they're like, we're gonna go to Butter and we're gonna do some stuff there, which is like a chicken shop, like a fried chicken store in Sydney, which is has some of the best fried chicken burgers and fried chicken and ramen.
Yum.
And
Ramen gang.
yeah, gang
Gang
gang.
gang in chat.
Uh, so we went there. He had like a little party, and then I said my goodbyes, and then as the Uber's like pulling up to drive me home, his security comes back out of the car, grabs me, puts me back into the puts me back into the car, and is like, "We're gonna go to the Sydney Opera House now and get some video there."
Oh
So I'm
my
like,
god.
"Oh, okay." And this is like 11 o'clock by this time.
And you're like,
Um,
sure. You don't
yeah,
even get a say this. You're like, okay, that's just where I'm going now.
like no, like when I say like he grabbed me, I
He
mean
just
like he
like
like
grabbed you.
grabbed my arm and just like pulled me into the car. I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm going now." Um, and so we get to the opera house and we do a few takes there. That's kind of like the main part of the music video. It ends up being like it's his verse and everything like that.
Yep.
Um, and so then after that, I'm thinking, all right, finally I can go home. And they're like, all right, we're going to the studio with 1-4. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess I can't really turn down that. I mean, 1-4, like they're blowing the
Yeah,
hell
I
up.
know.
Like obviously Berg just did a collab with them, so I
Yeah.
was there for that, which is honestly a wild experience.
Mm.
We get there, we listen to a few songs, and Ferg is like, this one. And so
And then did he just write on the spot?
he got into the
Mm.
booth and he would kind of like mumble like a flow, like da 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 da
Yeah.
da da
Yep.
da 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 like
Yep,
that,
yep, yep, yep.
and then he would just fill in the words
Yeah.
like it was nothing. I'm like,
I love those
that's insane.
experiences.
Like,
Like
yeah,
I've had a few studio experiences like that where you actually get to see the process, and
yeah,
it's mind blowing. Hey, Mish J119, nice to see you in the chat.
hey,
It always blows me away the process. I mean, different rappers have different processes, but I love when they start with like a mumbling flow and then they start filling in the words.
yeah,
It's so
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it's really cool to see. And then that's when I kind of had to call. It was like 2 a.m. at that point. And I was like, nah,
I have to go.
I gotta get out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get to sleep. But they ended up going to the next studio with Kwame, and they kind of hung out and did some stuff, which I kind of wish that I was there for that, to be honest.
Yeah, those late night studio sessions, I've been involved in a couple of them, and they go really, really, really late. And the best stuff, I reckon, happens usually around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, really?
Every
Oh,
time
shit.
I've been involved in one of those, and it's always been like late call up, maybe 10 or 11. This like, we're going to go to the studio. We'd love to get some shots. Come along. I love those moments. I'm always just like, because it's, I guess, seeing the art form that I'm obsessed with being made and created, and I just can't get enough of it. So I just sit like, I'll sit there and
Just sit there in awe.
in awe,
and you're
just like, oh my God.
just draw on the
Watching
floor.
music being made, created from nothing, and it's just like, I can see Brit's just joined the chat as well. Hey Brit, nice to see you here.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's crazy. So Billy asked a really good question before. I just need to scroll back because it was back in the chat, and it was a really good question. He said, you always frame and capture the personality of the artist that you work with directly. How do you read the room and never fail to make magic happen, even with fresh relationships? That's a
Get out of
comment
here,
slash
Billy.
question. But though it's actually,
Not even-
it is a great question. Like how do you, when you've gone into this shoot, this is the first time you've ever met ASAP Ferg, like establishing those relationships to be able to get those shots that look really comfortable, because there is a skill in that. Hello to Eva as well, who's just joined.
It's kind of, when I enter into like a space that's foreign, I kind of take a step back, and I don't pull out my camera for the first little bit unless they tell me to, and I just kind of observe how they move and how they interact with people, and seeing like, are they calm, are they angry, are they frustrated, are they are they in like a mood to actually have this done, or are they just trying to get content, you know?
Sensing that vibe is really important, isn't it? It's like there is an observation that comes with that. That's just like, I just need to watch for a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't ever. So when that first happened, I was told to film everything. So I met him, and from that moment I had my camera rolling pretty much. But generally speaking, I wouldn't pull out my camera for the first 30 minutes to an hour or so. And I would get to know them, and I would speak to them, because it's weird for them, like, just, who's this weird guy taking photos of me, you know? Like, you kind of have to look at it from their perspective, and see what I'm doing, and if it's okay, and
I totally understand that feeling, because it's really, especially when it's a new artist that you haven't worked with before, it's and just a quick hello to Ozfizz. I missed her popping up in the chat before. Really lovely to see you here, you talented human, you. She's a wonderful drawer, that's the wrong word. She's a wonderful artist I've seen her Twitch streams, and she's really great.
Amazing.
Yeah, so cool. Everyone needs to follow her. She's so great.
Hell yeah.
I really love that. That's one of my favorite things, I think, because there's an anxiety that goes around with meeting someone new, that you know that feeling. But I actually kind of, just that sussing out, getting to know, because you know when you kind of know that moment when they're comfortable with you, and they either start joking around with you, or you can feel it. Like, it's just.
I mean, I definitely can pinpoint that.
Yeah, same.
With art. Like, when we were at that restaurant, he told me to sit down and eat. That's kind of when I was like,
you're like, I'm cool now, I'm cool.
Yeah. I was like,
that's so funny. I've got, actually, let me show it, because I've just pulled out the Ferg shot. I've got a shot of Ferg that I just pulled out for actually, I'm donating it to a charity thing that I will talk about later. But this is actually the moment too with Ferg that I had about 5 minutes with him for this shoot for a magazine, but I had said something about showing his grills, and he was like, yeah, I know this is the shot you want, I know, and he like started smiling, because he was like really staunch before that, and I got this shot, and it was just like in that moment. It was for Acclaim. So I just wanted to show, because I can totally relate to that moment with him.
Okay.
I had
Wow,
5 minutes
well.
with him on that day, and I had to get some. Sometimes it's high pressure to get the shot.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. 5 minutes,
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's
Like, I mean, I guess that's kind of with that type of stuff. It's pretty common
yeah.
to not have very long.
No, it's like the interview goes for 10 minutes, and then you get 5 minutes, and you're in a
Yeah,
hotel. It
that's
was just in
insane.
a hotel room, and but yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it's
Like,
just, it's really great to hear your perspective as well, because it can be really nerve wracking, but it's my favorite part of what we do. I love that. Love that,
yeah.
like building trust and just really quickly,
Yeah, definitely.
and every time I've seen him since, he's remembered me. I took some photos for him at another festival once. He always says hello. Like, it's always really
Amazing.
lovely. Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
really cool.
That's so sick.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
The second shot we were going to show is not the photo of you. There's a film shot. I think it's how will we do this?
Should
Do you
we
want to?
do
Do you
the?
want to? Do you want to do the Queen shot as an edit?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Let's do that. We're going to do, and then we'll talk about the film stuff maybe. Actually, do it the other way around. Let's talk about the film stuff first. Let's talk
All
about
right.
this shot first. So the other thing we wanted to talk about tonight is that you shoot film, and I'd love to hear your process. And because you
Yeah.
actually develop film yourself,
I
you
scan it
scan it.
myself, but
Sorry.
I get it developed down the
Yes.
road.
Do you want to
Yeah.
explain the process? And there's a couple of people leaving, I think, the chat. Kenzie. Catch you later, Kenzie. And Gab.
Bye.
Hopefully you get to watch it back. This is another shot. Trophy Eyes, I believe.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
shot.
So, yeah, this one, this one was like pretty cool moment, I guess, because this was taken at their hometown, Greuven,
Ah,
because they're
cool.
from Maitland, or
Awesome.
like from around that area. So it was really cool to see them performing in front of
Ah,
literally their home
that's
crowd.
so
Like,
cool.
yeah, I mean, it's cool, like, oh, they'll play Cambridge and Newey, but Maitland is like,
Yeah.
yeah. Jeremy would tell me, like, he'd be laying in bed, like, and he'd be able to hear Greuven, like, down the road every year
Yeah.
and stuff, which is, yeah, so it was a very cool moment for them and for me to be able to capture it. And this shot was after their set. I love, like, the little details, like John's pants are undone, and he's just like full relaxed mode. It's all done. Taking a big swig of Jameson, which is always the choice of drink after a set, and sometimes even before a set, just to loosen up those vocals a little
Yep.
bit. And this would. I'm not a huge fan of posing people all too much, especially after a set. So this was like very kind of spur of the moment. Like, I saw he was just sitting there. I got out my camera and I was just waiting for the right moment.
Yep.
And I saw him take a swig and I was like, that's the one.
Yep. That's so, yeah, I feel exactly the same way about those moments. I don't like to pose. I actually don't like to pose people that much at all. I like to get quite natural shots. But especially post-show, it's more like just documentation. You're just there to document the moment rather than place them anywhere.
Exactly.
And you can get some really
100%.
great in the moment kind of shots. So
That's it.
when you're shooting a show, you're obviously shooting digitally, but you've got like a little film camera as well that you'll pull out for a few shots. Like, how do you
Yeah.
balance that?
So I'll usually only do it if I'm working for the artist and I've got more than 3 songs, because otherwise I'm kind of screwed if I get the shot on digital, because usually the publication or whoever I'm shooting for needs digital shots that night or the morning after. So I mean, yeah, I'll usually have my Contax T2 at my disposal. So I'll just kind of whip that out, take a few shots. It's like a little point and shoot camera, super easy to use, just a little point and shoot kind of thing. And then this was taken on my Hasselblad 500cm, which I think I bought it like a couple months before that show, and I was still kind of getting used to it, and I was still kind of fiddling with it and making sure I was getting everything right. And,
Billy
but yeah, it was
Billy said, yeah, the Hassie. Is the Hassie the ones you got to look down into, and it always looks like I can never. And when you look at, it's like the reverse of what you're seeing. Yeah, there you go.
yeah, that's the one.
They're incredible, beautiful cameras.
Yeah, it's my little baby. Love it. And yeah, can't remember what I was saying.
Sorry,
But-
I did interrupt. You were saying
No.
that you.
Oh
Can't
yeah, so
remember.
sometimes
How good was I? Just like.
sometimes I'll whip out the Hasselblad for live stuff as well.
Cool.
Like I'll only do it if it's daylight, because if it's like nighttime or inside a venue, the lights are too unpredictable, and too difficult to focus and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'll kind of just stick to the daytime.
Just saying hey to Sky Reese. So lovely to see you in the stream. Thanks for joining us. Look, I don't shoot too much. I definitely don't shoot film like live shots. I've never done it. The only film stuff I've shot is behind the scenes, and it is a balance, because it's like it's a whole different thing, and then you got to shit, have I got the right settings? And
yeah, definitely. You won't know until it's developed as well. So it's it's definitely a tricky situation to be in sometimes.
Yeah,
especially if you're just using film as well.
yeah,
like,
it can be very tricky. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, be confident with it.
And do you have a favorite film, like actual film stock that you shoot with? Like, are you more?
Yeah.
What's your?
Portra 400.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of standard.
Yeah.
Portra 400. It's gonna be like for everyday use. I really like Cinestill 800T as well. That's kind of nice for nighttime stuff, more with like fluorescent lighting and all that kind of stuff. It kind of creates a nice little halo around the lights.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's I definitely noticed on the last tour I shot way more film. I had 2 film cameras with me, but
Which ones?
I've got a little Minolta.
Sick.
Which is just a beautiful film camera. I cannot fault it at all. The other one I can't remember, is just like a little point and shoot thing, but
just for
little snaps. And I remember Rule really, really loving those shots too. So it definitely will be something that I do more. I just didn't really get into it until recently, and started knowing my moments when to be able to shoot and step in, and but I'd love to do some more actual live stuff and to see what I came up with. That could be fun.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's good fun. Like, I mean, if you've got the whole set, and if you're on tour especially, like, I mean, obviously not every show's the same, but like you can put down your camera and experiment a little bit more.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Like,
well, we're going to get you to do a live edit for us tonight, which we have never done before. But if you want to pull up your screen, I can. Let me know when it's. Oh, it's already up. Look at you go.
Yeah, put it up.
Okay. Here we go. So this is cool. Yeah, show us the raw shot. This is great. So this is a shot that you took of Queen, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to tell us a little bit of background about the shot? Because, I mean, the fact that you were even able to shoot Queen is quite... I was so jealous when I was seeing you guys shooting Queen. I love Queen so much.
They're amazing.
And such a great shot as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty surreal, to be honest. Like, I didn't realize that I had done it until the day after.
Hang on 2 seconds. I think we've got... I've got an echo with you. I've just got to turn... Try now. Do you want to just...
Hello.
Yeah, just see...
Is that
better,
a
everybody?
little bit better?
We'll find out in 2 seconds. No, it's... Yeah, all good. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just have... Don't worry. We're all good.
Yes, I am.
Aaron's messaged me frantically, and we've sorted it out. Aaron, put your Aaron emotes in the chat, because once again, he has saved the day. Aaron is the best. Aaron is the best. Well done.
Woo! Go Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just tell us a bit about this gig and how you. I guess who were you shooting for as well on the night?
So we were shooting for the festival, I guess. So Jordan Munns, Jess Gleason, and I were all shooting for Firefight. And it was like, I remember seeing that lineup get announced, and I was like, oh man, I would be so sick if I shot this, but I've like lost all my connections to any of the publications that I used to shoot for. So I was like, oh, there's probably no chance that I'll ever be able to get in and do it.
Yep.
But I got an email like a couple weeks out from it saying that I was put forward for it, and I was like,
oh good.
Shit.
That's so awesome. Such a great team.
Yeah.
It was, great to see you all there.
Yeah, it was an amazing team. Love those guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jordan Munns and Jess Gleason.
Yes, I've got her coming in a couple of weeks, so that's exciting.
Oh, hell yeah. Love it.
So tell us a bit about this shot. Looks like it's looking straight down the catwalk, so you've got a really lovely a frame of this particular Brian May's right in front of you, which is like, the god, so it's a pretty epic shot.
Yeah, thank you. I was mostly shooting on the sides of the catwalk for most of the night, but when I saw Brian kind of walking down, I was like, oh shit, I think I gotta go to the front. And if you can see Adam Lambert between his legs.
Yes, I can.
Well.
Oh my god, I love Adam Lambert so much. Like, I am like obsessed with him.
Oh really?
Yes.
It was so weird because I would hear so much like how people would turn. Like they would be like, oh no, I don't like Adam Lambert as like the front man of Queen, like, or like filling in.
Oh no.
But then as soon as they see him, everyone's like, holy shit, he did like the most amazing.
I went to see them. So the year before this concert happened, I went to see them when they were touring. One of my friends, Sam Sparrow, is really good friends with him, and he hooked me up tickets, and I had these incredible tickets to Queen, like literally next to the catwalk for Queen, and it was such a flawless performance by him. Like, I was so blown away, and it was the only time I've actually like purchased merch. I was like, I need to like just buy something to remember this show. I say that because like as photographers we're just given merch all the time. Like, we have so much merch, but it was just one of the most, and obviously like he's not Freddie, and he says that at the start, like, I will never be Freddie, but he really does, like, there's something in his performance that brings the whole band to life, and it is phenomenal to see. Yeah,
and I mean, it was really cool. Obviously you were watching this live, but they went off stage for a minute and they had Freddie on the big screen doing the it was really cool. That was a really cool moment.
There's a question from Daniel. So shooting for the festival, were you still locked for the first 3 songs for Queen, or did you have a little bit more time to play around? That's a great question, Dan.
So generally when you're working for the festivals, I mean, I guess for Queen, festivals would probably be like first 3 and out, but because this festival was, most of the bands only played for 2 to 5 songs, they let us shoot the entire thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So from start to finish.
And they literally did the 5-song Live Aid set.
From Live Aid.
I was like tearing up going this. I realized I think maybe the second song in, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna do the set. Like, I was just like, Jarvis is like, what? I'm like, the Live Aid set. Oh my god. So amazing. But anyway, do you want to have a crack at editing this, and we'll watch you, and no pressure. Just maybe just talk us through what your usual process would be.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my usual process with like on tour is I've got, at the start of tour I make a preset, and I make like maybe like 3 or 4 presets, and then I'll import all the images with one, and then I'll kind of work my way through them, and I'll see which ones work. I'll adjust contrast, exposure, highlights, all that kind of stuff. But pretty much that would kind of keep the colors
Consistent,
coherent
yeah.
throughout.
Yeah.
I
I did exactly the same
it kind of
thing.
creates a style.
Yeah, it's funny because I know
it-
some people are like, I don't know why, but there's some people that are like against presets, but nearly everyone that I know that tours is like, you can't do this without presets. Like you need
Yeah,
to find,
literally.
and they're ones that you've developed like over years or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So that's great to hear that you do that as well.
Yeah. But I mean, so for this one, I would first start out just by angling it, making sure that it's kind of level. And even with this one, I think what I did was, tell me if I move too fast as well. This transform tool with the drag is probably one of my favorite tools. It kind of straightens everything out.
I did
So
not
you have
know that you could do
line.
that. So, what up for teaching me something in Lightroom tonight? I always do that
There you go.
if I needed to, like in Photoshop. But like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
so I
even
mean,
bother
that-
to you've even do it with a shot like that. You've just changed my life. Whoa.
I mean, I think for this one, especially it's very symmetrical on both sides, so I kind of want
Yes,
to keep
very,
it
yeah,
very kind of
totally,
even.
totally. That's awesome.
But I mean, you can even do it. Obviously, wait, I'll just bring up the exposure like heaps, just make it look really
Yep.
bad for a second. But so if you like go with this
Yep.
line here, straighten up.
Yes,
and then
sick. This is
that.
this is in transform.
Yeah. I mean, obviously this is
Yeah,
an
yep.
extreme example and it doesn't work
Yep,
for that photo
yep.
at all. But if there are any lines that aren't kind of working well, that's a good way to
That's
get
so
around it.
cool.
Yeah. So I mean, generally I'll kind of start just with playing with exposure and contrast, making everything kind of look good, I guess.
Yeah,
I
look
don't really know.
okay. So totally.
Yeah. So what I do is I kind of work my way down. So I'll start off in basic, then I'll go tone curve, HSL, split toning,
Yep.
all the way down.
Are there any that you just like skip, or is it like you kind of do spend time on every little section?
HSL is probably the only one that I don't do that much. And split toning I've only recently stared doing a bit more
same.
of. I find that it helps a lot more than I thought it ever would, to be
Yep.
totally honest.
I've only just started doing it
and
as
it's kinda
well.
changed
Yeah,
my world.
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. And I kind of like this photo, like quite
Yeah, quite
orangey
warm.
as well.
I noticed that in your final edit.
Yeah.
It's such incredible framing, can I say? Like the composition is like
Thank you.
bloody amazing.
I mean, I feel like it's a bit just stroke of good luck.
Yeah, I love
like
that
having,
though.
Especially having Adam like right in the middle of his legs and
God,
stuff.
it's perfection. But I mean, like
Yeah.
that is an element of our job. Is like just sometimes having that stroke of luck, isn't it? It's like we get, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I tend to fade the blacks a little bit. Like I don't go anything like extreme like that. I know some people really like it, but I'm not really about it. I'll just kind of fade them just a little bit, and then I'll kind of create an S
I
curve
think we've
around
all
that.
been through the faded blacks, like the slightly too much faded blacks. I know I was big on it a long time ago now, but
yeah, I feel that. I was definitely big on it as well back when I first started. I remember trying to figure out how people were doing it, and I would like play around with so many options, and then
finally got it.
I just pressed this one button, and I was like,
yeah,
oh
I
my
can't.
God.
I think I saw somebody saying about how you just lift that curve just up a little bit, and you get that crushed blacks. Yeah.
Yeah. I am a fan of like crushed whites at the moment, though.
Highlights,
like highlights.
So you pull that
so, like,
down.
from that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Ish, maybe.
I like.
I'll kind of. I guess this isn't really an S curve right now, is it?
It's
It's kind of a bit of a mess.
Can be whatever though,
Um,
really. Whatever you're feeling.
yeah, that's it. And then I'll play around with the different
Yep.
channels as well. See what kind of works. I feel like this is going to be nowhere near what I had
Maybe you
originally.
find a new one that you like better.
Yeah, possibly. Who knows? This is all an experience for all
It
of us.
is. This is what I love.
Just-
I love.
so, I mean, I'll add some like greens as the highlights, maybe give it a bit more of like a 70s feel.
Yeah, it does, isn't it? It's very
Uh,
70s rock Queen vibes. Even Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin vibes, actually. I'm getting a bit with that.
Yeah, very Led Zeppelin vibes actually. And then this blue curve is definitely going to help with that warm, like pulling that down. That's probably where I'll stop with that. And then one of my favorite things is in HSL. Not many people know this, but if you click these little buttons here, you can change, and then you drag up and down. You can change,
What are you?
that
What wizardry are you doing at the moment?
right? So instead of like playing around with these sliders, if you press that, it will choose that exact color, and see how on the right hand side it's
Oh
changing both.
my! This is
Yeah.
Brit's just like, what? Since when? This is like you're teaching
Yeah,
us
right?
all tonight. I don't know this feature.
Yeah. This is my favorite
I
thing to do. is,
definitely am
teach
like in
people
the slider going,
stuff.
you know, back and forth on every.
Yeah, I mean, it works great with skin tones,
Oh, cool.
especially because if you can't pinpoint their skin tone exactly, that this
Cool.
helps an insane amount.
Well, there's something for me to experiment with. This is great. There's a few people.
And
Yes, Daniel said, I feel like I need to get Lightroom instead of purely Photoshop. Daniel, can I just tell you, Lightroom will change your life. 100% change your life. Not only make it easier, but it will change your life. Yes. And I can usually give people a pretty quick lesson in about 20 minutes with Lightroom, like just the basics. This is getting into some advanced stuff that I've never seen in my life, even though I've used it for like 7 years. But you're changing my life tonight, Jared, so this is great. This is awesome. Praise Jared, indeed. This is
I'm
great.
glad.
So cool.
Thank you.
I love that we got you to do this tonight.
So, I mean, the photo is pretty sharp as is, to be totally honest, like just around its edge. But one of my favorite things as well, I'm not sure if you know, if you press down Option on, if you got a MacBook Option, and then if you press the sharpening, it will put it into black and white, and you can see that
I did
sharpening
not
better.
know this.
And then your radius as well,
Option.
detail,
Oh my.
and then your masking. Masking is the easiest one to see for everyone.
Yep.
But like,
Option.
yeah, that will make it really nice
And
and
sharp.
nice and sharp for you. Lens corrections, always enable profile corrections. And then effects, I usually add like a little bit of grain, just because why not? Unless I'm printing, then I don't.
Okay, cool.
But,
There's enough noise in the photograph usually.
usually when it's printed, it doesn't look
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah, I
fake grain.
find-
It's a tricky one to get right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then also calibration is also one of my favorite things to mess around
Cool.
with. This is one of the things, if you ever get those like really blotchy colors, like if you ever get really
I've
blotchy
definitely
reds,
had that before.
you-
Or blues.
yeah,
Sometimes
you bring down the
blues.
saturation
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, blues as
Yeah.
well. Blues
Yeah.
kill it. You bring down that saturation, you can kind of play around with that, and it will, I'd say 99.9% of the time we'll get rid of those blotchy colors.
Cool. That's amazing. I actually don't usually mess around in calibration too much, so that's cool to know as well.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of one of the things. I mean, so that was like kind of a
Yeah.
quick basic edit, but
So good. Is there anybody
grab
in
it.
have any other questions for Jared in the chat while we've got him doing some Lightroom? I'll pull up your final shot, what you edited it originally as well, so we can see that. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely is.
slightly different, but not that different.
Yeah.
Um, I shall pull it up.
Oh,
Oh yes,
also, I would
yeah. No,
actually,
go.
sorry, one thing that I would do as well is mess around just to make the photo a bit more even. I would mess around with the gradient tool,
Okay.
and that'll just help bring up the exposure a little bit, and that'll bring out that
Yep,
haze on the left hand side a little bit,
yep.
and that'll just kind of help match the right hand side a little bit. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, love that. That looks so great. That's awesome. Daniel
Yeah.
said, what preset would you choose that you have already in the library if this was on tour? That's a good question. Is there something that they would that you might just be able to click on and show us what that would look like as a base?
Yeah, for sure. I've got a whole bunch of presets
Yeah.
here. Like,
Hundreds.
like,
I've got hundreds in mine.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely hundreds.
You've got your go-tos though,
Um,
don't you?
yeah, but I don't know if anyone would work with this photo, to be honest. Or maybe, uh, I don't know, it's kind of difficult. Probably go something like this, just
Yep.
very basic, and then
Then,
just bump up the
yeah.
fronts, and then just do like a little bit of extra work, just like bumping up the shadows
This is,
and
it's
playing around
really
with that
good to
stuff
show
again.
Daniel though, I think, like how much work it saves when you have, like, there's that one click that you start with that is like almost like 80% there most of the time if you've played around with the preset long enough. It just saves all of that 10 minutes that you were doing before for that one click, and then it's just like tweak, 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 move on to the next image, you know? Because when you're on tour or if you're doing these shots, you know, really quickly, I don't know about you, but I spend about, I don't know, 15 seconds on a photo, 30 seconds before I'm on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
probably
it's
about
like
that.
really, really quick. It's like you
Yeah.
just don't have the time to mess around. So I'll
Hmm.
show,
Yeah.
where is my other screen? Oh, that's me. There we go. That's the one I wanted. This is the shot this is where you got to originally, I guess. So it's pretty close. It's just, it looks like there's a bit more, yeah, or a bit, even a bit greener, I guess, in the lights, but green or, yeah. It's such a great shot though. Very cool. Um, yeah, so Daniel's saying he edits everything individually. This is why I'm saying, Daniel, this is going to change your life. Not only is it quicker, I just think it's way more efficient, and you actually have way more control over the photograph and consistency over the set, because once you have your grade, you can paste it over the entire set and then just tweak each individual photo so they all look so similar. Yes, Ines has asked about doing an editing challenge. I think the next challenge, so after this week's photo challenge, we're going to do an editing challenge. So yes, 100% we will be doing another editing challenge, so we can do that really soon. Amberly's asked a question for both of us. How many hard drives do you take on tour, and what would you recommend? I actually just take one, but I'll show you. Where's my last one? I've got all different ones. These ones are good. The Seagate ones are good. I've got a couple of Seagates. What's that one? WD. I've actually nearly changed every time. WD. That's WD as well. I actually have one dedicated to each tour, but I back everything up. So I've got like, my system is imports. No, I actually sometimes do take two. I do back up my imports. But just to say, I've got my imports and exports on one, and then a copy of my exports is in Dropbox because that's what I deliver to the client. So it's like you've got a copy of everything. And then depending on how long I was away, I probably would take an extra one and just back it up to be safe. But I have been, because I've got that the clients in Dropbox no matter what, and then I still have everything. I've tended not to then duplicate again. But I don't know. What about yourself? Are you doubling everything? Oh yeah, that's the one I'm using now. Is the same? Yeah, it's because they're so little and amazing. Yeah, that's I'm my current one that I'm using at the moment is that one. So that's yeah.
as the backup.
Sorry, I think I just muted you accidentally.
That's right.
Yeah, try now. So you were just
Uh,
saying your what was? Oh, you've got the Samsung T. What are they called? T5.
T5.
Yeah.
Yeah, the T5. I've got the 2 terabyte one,
Yeah,
and
I just
then
bought. They're pretty expensive, but I just bought the same one, and
yeah.
it's so fast.
But the thing is, like, when you're on tour, for me at least, like, things are moving around a lot, and with normal hard drives, if they're knocked around too much, they could erase data and they could become corrupt. Whereas a solid state drive like the T5, that won't be
Yeah,
a thing.
yeah. I think I will be
Um,
definitely taking them on tour for the future.
yeah.
Especially when you're on buses and stuff like that. Like it's you
Mm.
constantly just like trying to edit, and you're like plug it in, and like.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but and I just find the size they are more expensive, but
Yeah.
just the being so little as well. Just again, just
Definitely.
yeah. But before that, I would say the WD was the one that I most consistently used, and I haven't really had an issue with. I've used all different drives. I haven't really had any issues. I've only had one ever fail on me, so it
Lucky.
happens.
I've had about three
Oh
or
yeah,
four.
it definitely
And
happens.
two of them I didn't have backup, so I had to pay
Shit.
I had to pay like 3.5 grand each. Something to
Oh,
get
ouch. Yeah, the one that
backup stuff.
the one I
Boys and
didn't
girls.
have backup. I didn't have backup of a section of it, and I got it back, but it only cost me about maybe $600.
Yeah, that's
So
lucky.
ouch.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Mine was like 4 terabytes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were the some of them were really important photos, and one of the sets was I got to shoot Chance at
Ouch.
Beyond the Valley, and
Ouch.
that was the only set that he allowed photographers for. And I was like, I am not losing these photos. Like, I do not care. Like, yeah.
Oh,
So,
that hurts. That really hurts.
yeah.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that happened to you. That's like
It's all right. I got them back. So, well, I got back, I think, like 89% of the drive.
Oh,
So,
that's so yeah, awesome.
and I haven't noticed anything missing. So it's like obviously just not so important stuff,
Yeah.
which is good.
We kind of skimmed over it before, but I did want to talk about your film processing. I'll pull up that shot again. What's your process when you're doing that?
So when I mean, if you want to switch back to my screen,
Oh yeah,
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it up on Lightroom. So I
yeah.
can
Let's
kinda,
do that. Let me find it. Give me 2 secs. Got it. There we go.
So I've got I recently just bought Epson V850, which is when I buy things that I know that I'm going to use and that will come in handy, I will always save up for the best
Awesome.
in that kind of field because I see no point in having to upgrade later. You know, like I'd rather just spend the money now, and that way I don't have to spend almost double the amount of money later. So the V850 is kind of like it's pretty much near top of the line for film scanners like that you can have at home. And it's got like these little sheet things that you put your film into, or if you don't want, if you want borders, then you can just lay it down on the glass on the
Yep.
scanner. And so what I'll do is I'll scan it in to my computer. I'll create like a high-res TIFF, and this thing is a massive file. I think it's like
Oh,
400,
wow.
500 megabytes. So, I mean, yeah, you can get a lot of detail. And then I've got this thing called, what is it called? Negative Lab
Okay.
Pro, which I then, so what we do is basically you kind of color correct that, and then you do all your inverting in uh, in the little program, which is like a plugin for Lightroom, and eventually it will come out something like that.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, so
That's
it's pretty
so
cool. Like
cool.
it's yeah. So I mean that photo, that one that I sent you was actually before I had Negative Lab Pro, so I was
Oh.
actually doing all the color converting in the Epson, which I found wasn't
Yeah, let me pull
as
up that one
good.
again just to compare the colors, because they are quite
Yeah,
different actually. Um,
yeah. They're a lot warmer on the Epson. Um, just
yeah, I don't know which I prefer because they both look really great, but it's so cool that you can just do that. It's very, yeah, yeah, more muted. Daniel said it's still lovely though, still really great. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I love that. Yep. Yeah, let me pull that back into your screen again, just to show you what you were doing then, because that was really cool how you could change those colors.
yeah. So like, I mean, obviously it takes like a hell of a lot of tinkering to to get right. Um, like so you can control the shadows, the highs, like um, mids, what type of film it is as well. So like you've got Kodak, Fuji, Cine Still D, Cine Still T. They don't always make the image look better, but they're there in case you want
Very
them.
cool.
Then you can control the darks and the lights and blacks and make it look really crap if you wanted to. And yeah,
Oh, I love. So good. Does anyone have any questions
yeah.
for Jared about any of these processing stuff? This is so interesting to me.
Apparently, I'm.
No, you're back now. It was just when I switched screens. Yeah,
Um,
every time I switch screen, I
uh,
have to you're either like muted or double audio. It's one or the other. So I have to.
uh,
I'll have to
you're
do
good.
there'll have to be a one button fix to this. But anyway, we're work in progress. Thanks for everybody's patience with me. I'm just fumbling my way through. Any
Great.
Aaron said we can fix after the stream, so that's cool. Yeah, any specific questions for Jared? I'd love to talk about what's coming up for you. Where are you at? Obviously concerts, we don't know what is
Yeah.
happening, but any other work that you're doing?
Um, some stuff TBC. Just doing some stuff with like live performances, like where you like for online. So I'll just be doing either the video or I'll be doing some stills, like behind the scenes stuff. I think the first one might be
Cool.
Friday um, with the Cool Sydney band.
Awesome.
And then some other stuff here and there, but honestly, not a whole
Yeah.
lot still. Because aside from live music, I do my own fair share of like corporate stuff, but obviously a lot of businesses aren't back and up and running fully just yet, so it's kind of a bit
Yeah.
still hit and miss. But yeah, still got the government check coming
Yeah.
in. So
Thanks for that, JobKeeper. Yeah.
yeah, hell
I'm
yeah.
the same. It's like an absolute godsend, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, freaking out
At the
in
beginning, my
March.
God, it was so
Yeah,
stressful, so stressful. I remember just
yeah,
being for about a week on the phone to every bank institution, every
yeah,
halting on the home loan, the car loan,
yeah.
everything. I got, we have no income. It was
Oh
so
shit.
stressful.
Yeah, wow.
Amber Lee said, I completely zoned out for a second. Did Jared mention how many PPI he imports his film photos at?
Uh, 3200,
3200.
I
Yep.
believe. Yeah, 3200 or 4200,
One of those.
depending on. Yeah, I think for 120 it's 3200 or 3800. And then for 35, I'll do 4200 just because the 35 mil is a
Okay.
lot smaller, so you don't have as much
Okay.
info. Uh,
Cool.
but yeah, which is honestly, it is a bit bigger than a lot of people
Yep.
do, but I'd rather go the bigger and just wait an extra
Yeah.
10
While it
minutes while it
scans. Yep.
scans than,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah.
Aaron's asked as well, don't know if I missed this, but does Jared recommend any presets for Lightroom? Yeah, where do you get your presets from? I got them from all over the place.
All the presets that I use, I've made
Cool.
myself.
Yep.
Yeah. I do have some ones that I've just found online, but I haven't. I use them a little bit, maybe here and there. If like none of my presets are working, I'll like go through a list and then kind of work off them. But um, when I first started, the Visco ones were really,
Yeah.
really good.
Yep.
Um,
I think everyone
and then you
starts with
kind of,
Visco, don't they?
yeah, yeah, it's pretty crazy, dude. Like they built up like an amazing um, list of
Yeah.
presets, and I've still got the app as well on my
Yep.
phone that I'll use for photos that I just take on my
Yep.
phone. I'll import that to Visco and I'll slap a
Yep.
preset on them. Um, but yeah, I mean the Visco ones are really cool if you wanted to get started, but there are a lot of them as well. Like there's like sometimes too many to go through. I remember
Yeah.
like trying to search for one and there's like a list of like a hundred
You're
and you
like,
just gotta find that.
I
Yeah,
know.
literally go through
It takes a
so
while to get
uh,
your head around, like even just what you like and what you're, because I'm the same now. Like most of my presets are presets that I've developed from other stuff. You know, like you've taken a bit and then you've made it into
yeah,
your own, and
definitely.
but it's
Yeah,
from just using heaps of others that you like. Oh, this is my style. I like a bit contrastier. I like a bit more color, or whatever it is, whatever your style is. It does
exactly.
take
Yeah.
a while to get your head around that. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Daniel's asked any thoughts on some people jumping on the shoot film or like a bandwagon just because it's a little bit of an in thing as opposed to doing it for the love of shooting. It's a good question.
Just gonna, just gonna put that one out there.
Also got the Leica.
Yeah.
I hate
Uh,
you.
I bought this at the
Did
worst time as
you?
well. Oh my god, I bought this literally in February, like just before all this shit happened.
Did you buy it off someone that we know? I feel like there was a bunch of Leicas that were being sold by mutual friends around that time. No?
Nah,
Okay.
nah, I bought it off a dude in Hawaii,
Okay.
actually, for a Facebook group. Pretty much came brand new in the box.
Fuck.
Yeah, got a
Oh
good
well.
deal, but still a very scary
Beautiful
time to buy.
camera.
Because I
Beautiful
was like,
camera.
yeah, love
But
it.
how do you feel about people like jumping on the?
I I don't mind it because hopefully it kind of sticks around a
Yeah.
little bit, and then that means that more film will be produced because more people are buying it, and then that will make it
Yes,
cheaper, and
that's so
then
true.
like
And more
it
labs will be
it'll kind
processing and all that sort of stuff as well.
of, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it as long as people aren't like literally doing it, as long as people aren't shooting digital and claiming that
Oh
it's film.
yeah, that's
You
the
know,
worst.
like people like I've looked at like the shoot film hashtag and like some photos are obviously
Yeah, yeah,
digital.
yeah.
And I'm like, come
Yeah.
on, like, what are you doing? So
Very
I
hard
mean, I don't mind it.
to manufacture that look. Like you can try, but it just isn't. I honestly, people used to tell me that all the time, and I'd be like, whatever. Then it wasn't until I started
Yeah.
shooting film, and I'm quite new to the film bandwagon myself. But there is such a difference, and it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful aesthetic that you just cannot replicate. Like something
Same.
about it's just
Yeah.
like so stunning. So.
Yeah.
Tessa asked a really great question. Is there any advice on to keep motivated? I think that's a good question at the moment.
What was the question?
Any
Sorry?
advice on how to keep motivated?
That is a great question. I think it's just trying to keep your mind active. I mean, it's really difficult to stay motivated in this time. Like, even I've kind of fallen in and out of it. So it's just, I don't really know any advice.
Yep.
tear you
I
down.
think I
even
muted
quicker.
you again, so maybe say that last line again.
Uh,
Don't force yourself, you were saying.
yeah, don't force yourself to try and be motivated because that will just kind of wear you down a little bit more. Um, because you're just using more energy to get motivated, which then makes you more tired and becomes less motivated, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, during these times, especially, just take it as it comes and don't overwork yourself because then you're gonna drain yourself even more, I guess.
Totally. Yeah. It's yeah, I think I feel the same as well. Like I've been pretty lucky that I've been able to keep pretty motivated. The last couple of days, to be honest, were not hard. But I also just let myself sit with that and just go, I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not going to force myself when there's too much other stuff, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Asia just said, do you procrastinate? And if you do, how long do you how do you tackle that? Still struggling with it.
As am I.
Yeah. It's just a
Like,
tricky one. I get really anxious energy after a while that I need to put into things. Like I'm not a big procrastinator. It's always really short periods, but I do know some of my artist friends really, really struggle with it. Do you have any advice when you're like in a bit of a procrastination hole?
not really, to be totally honest. Like for me, I'll procrastinate if I know something's not urgent. Like for example, like when you're on tour, I don't procrastinate about getting photos to people because I'm like, they need this like right now.
Deadlines are so
But
great.
if I know that they don't need it for like a week, I literally won't do anything for a week until an hour before it's due.
Yeah.
Like it's so bad.
Yeah.
But that's also because like I've kind of always struggled with it. I've got ADHD, so I'm kind of like all over the place. So I'm like it's like a whole nother level for me.
Yes.
And I haven't really learned how
to manage
deal with it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I find like I'm very accountable. So if I have clients that are waiting for stuff, then and it's like deadlines to meet, then I'm really, really good at meeting deadlines. I think just comes from being in the habit of also being really busy. So you do have a list of things you kind of need to get done. It's definitely tricky in moments like COVID or when you're not as busy and like this like last couple of days I've had a list a mile long just going I'm paralyzed at the moment. I don't know what to do, but
that'll give me a heart attack.
It's tricky. It's definitely tricky. I think we all struggle with it as artists in different periods of time, but I think setting yourself little goals really helps. Like I find writing lists actually helps me, and ticking them off like really helps me. Like getting through a certain number per day is really, really great.
I was always taught to do that, but then I would always forget to write the list, and then I would procrastinate writing the list.
I have a never ending. Look at my list. This is every day. I write lists. I write lists every single day. Jeez. Yeah, this is what I do. I live by them. I'm obsessed. Obsessed. It really does keep me on track though. And it's a really good feeling to actually tick stuff off, because then you can give yourself a bit of a break and be like, cool, I got something done. I'm going to go chill for a bit. Like there's a bit of a reward system with it, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. It's kind of like back when I was in like elementary school or whatever, there would be like, when you're reading, have like a little gummy bear on the next line or something, you know, like finish the line, eat the gummy bear.
Yes, go have some chocolate or something too. Yeah, I definitely like that. I've there's some people in the chat, Amber Lee and Britt, I think, that are struggling with uni and exams at the moment. So all the feels there. I think I definitely remember at uni I definitely was a last minuter as well. It's like, oh, it's due tomorrow, better write it down.
Write a 4,000 word essay in a night. Seems like
yes. Steph said that she's a list writer as well, and is it Marlis? I do that too. And Asia has said you need to teach us time management.
You need to. You fully need to do just like one session.
But I don't know. All I'll be saying is I break big projects down into little goals, and I write little lists every day. Like, this is what I need to do today. Like, it's just breaking everything down, because like big projects can seem really overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, where's my jumper from, Emma? This is a AIM, the Indigenous Mentoring Group. That's their merch. I think you can still get them. I got it a few years ago, but I do love it. So,
Love you, Billy.
Yeah, thanks, Billy. Thanks for tuning in. Love to see you. Hope you can tune in again. Amber saying, honestly, being a photography major and doing everything at home is killing me. Yeah. Is it Marlis? My name is hard to say. I think I'm probably just saying it wrong. So, Marlis? Is there an extra I there? Marillis? Marillis? We've had this with Asia before. So. If there's no other questions, we will definitely say goodbye to Jared shortly. It's been so lovely chatting with you.
Yeah, it's been great.
And getting your backstory.
Really appreciate you getting me along.
Yeah, it's been really, really cool. What are you up to for the rest of the week? What's happening in your... Are you just playing computer games with the boys?
Yeah, just playing video games with the boys. That's it.
That's it.
Wake up, have breakfast, get online.
Yeah. I can give you a recommendation now. I'm going to start sending you Twitch channel, like weird Twitch channels that Aaron and I have found over the last few weeks, because that's usually what we're doing as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would love to kind of dive into that never-ending hole.
Oh, it is. I'm telling you, you can go into a hole. Lots of thanks coming in, which is really cool. Thanks so much. Really appreciate everybody being here tonight. I know it's a really weird time, and I love our little community. Thanks for always showing up and being present, and it's awesome. Just a little announcement about Thursday night. Thursday night at 7:30, my usual time, we'll be talking to my friend Isha. She lives in London, but she's currently herself and another friend of mine, Maggie, who I've got coming on in a couple of weeks. They're currently doing a huge print sale of photographers from all over the world, and they're raising money for Black Lives Matter and different charities that are attached to that movement. I've got a couple of prints in, but I'm getting Isha on to talk all about it, and she'll explain everything and a little bit about her work. She's incredible. I met her when I was in London, so that's super exciting. So that's happening on Thursday. Hopefully see you all then. Thanks for Jared. Thanks for tuning in. This was really awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And hopefully I might see some of you guys at the rally in Melbourne on Saturday.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, love to you all, and see you in the Discord group. Bye, everybody. Big love.
See ya.
Bye.